I'm Danielle Peterson, and I live in Minnesota, which there should be a graphic there. I don't know why it isn't. But that's okay. So everybody tells me that you can tell that I'm from Minnesota because of my accent. I don't hear it, but you can be the judge of that. A couple of things that I want to talk about today that are my favorites are manufacturing, time tracking for high-speed production. It's time in seconds across production. This seems like a small change, and it is because it's changing into seconds, but it's really important for a lot of industries. Particularly in previous versions, you could only go down to minutes in order to track your production. So that caused a lot of industries or a lot of companies to have to, do some serious calculation to get accurate costs. Some of those industries include plastic molding, electronic assembly, food and beverage packaging. And I just recently took a tour to a bat manufacturer and found out that they have a lot of manufacturing that's done in seconds. It was very cool. Highly recommend it. The second thing that I want to talk about is from our platform, which is enhanced meter widget configuration. This is really, I chose this because we have gotten a lot of feedback from our newsletter that people are interested in learning more about dashboards. So I hope I can show you something cool there. So let's go get started. All right, so a couple things that you need to know about getting set up for production in seconds rather than minutes is that you'd have to start out on your BOM preferences. So go to your bill of materials and then select BOM preferences. And the settings that make a difference are this operation time format, which you can change here. You see they have the seconds added in. And then down here, the total time format, if you want to choose the same one, make sure I change it to the same thing. And then when you hit save, you can see that over here, it automatically changed the work center defaults as well. So it's important to note that when you do that, it will change your format on your bill of materials, your production orders, basically across labor, production, and materials or work centers. So when I look at this bill of material, this is one that I had previously done, and you can see it was already created and everything. But when I switched that setting, it changed the settings here on the runtime, run units, setup time, machine time, all across here. So it's not just going forward that it's going to make those changes, it's also retroactive. And then when you look also at the production order details, it does that as well. It does not, however, on the forms, it does not show that automatically on your forms. So it will show the rounded up to minutes unless you go in and change that. And one thing to keep in mind is that this also applies to engineering and change requests. And they've done some hard coding on the back end to make sure that this is really consistent across Acumatica. So labor time is always recorded in seconds on any clock entry, multiple clock entry forms, when you approve clock entries and scan labor, even if you have the minutes format. So that's one thing to keep in mind too, which simply means that you have that greater precision in the background, even if you are using it in minutes. There's also seconds on the production order maintenance form, production order details, like I mentioned, and the production order performance. So it's all stored in seconds in the database, and really that time format here on your BOM preferences is just controlling how it's displayed. Of course, there's always exceptions to the rule because that's just the way life works. So over here on the create labor time activities, you'll notice that this labor time area does round into minutes, regardless of your setting. So that's just something to note. A couple other things that you want to keep in mind is that when you're switching over to this or upgrading, you want to make sure that if you have any customizations, any integrations or calls through API endpoints that involve time tracking, you want to make sure that those values all get upgraded as well. It might be a better idea for you to close all your production orders before that, and then, have that clean endpoint and move forward. So that's that. And then the next one that we wanted to talk about was the enhanced meter widget configuration. So I've got something set up over here. I want to show you something to begin with. And there it comes. I want to show you something to begin with. First to note, anytime that you're creating new dashboards, especially based off of a previous one, always make a copy first, which is what I did. I used the salesperson dashboard and created a copy so that I could manipulate it without losing the original. But all that to point out that if you have the design security permissions, you can click design, and then you can go in and edit your thing. And so your widget, and what you have to do, and I have to show you this on this original because I already did it on the other one, is you have to click this migrate configuration button. Otherwise, you won't see the new options on there. So as I've already done that here, I'm going to go into this design. And this applies to the metered ones, which is this. So it doesn't necessarily apply to any of these other types, but specific to this. So I'm going to go in here, and here's our properties. And for those of you who haven't done any dashboard widgets, you can have a caption. It's based off of an inquiry screen, and you can choose how often it refreshes. You can also put in filters and conditions. And then here's your appearance. So you can choose fields that you want to aggregate, and you can choose the aggregate function. And in this case, it's sum. So I haven't done anything really to change this yet. What I wanted to show you is that, that you have to hit that migration thing. And then you can also choose any different color for each of this, for each setting, which isn't really new, but you have that there. But they've also added in maximum targets down here. And that's pretty interesting. So you can set that for each widget. And the other thing that I like is that you can click this plus button and add in another target at any point. This is telling me that the value has to be greater than the minimum value. So I just decided, okay, I'm gonna leave this as teal just to see what it looks like. I'm gonna do a fixed value, and I'm gonna change this to 25%. Because, percent of target. So I'm gonna do that and 25%. And then when I come down here and click save, it adds in that teal. So here is the original, and here's this. So in that way, you can really do a little bit more personalization to your widgets and make it a little bit more meaningful for your business needs.